And we'd like to welcome everybody to the main event, ladies and gentlemen, here on North Pole Hoops TV. Out there in YouTube land, we have the 38th annual Humber Classic Prep Final between two of the heaviest of heavyweights in Canadian basketball. On one side, we have number 3 nationally ranked Ridley College going up against number 9 nationally ranked Rise Prep. Two very, very talented teams that are also very, very familiar with each other. I am Ryan Greco on your play-by-play. I am joined by Elias Spate on color. And Elias, what a matchup we have. We know a whole bunch of names on both of these rosters, and we are in for quite a treat on the most elite of Canadian basketball matchups.
Yeah, on the floor right now, I mean, they match up really well in terms of size. It's going to really come down to guard play of Ridley and whether they can withstand the pressure that Rise is going to put on. As you know, Noah Wharton is out of commission for this game, nursing a sprained ankle. So we'll expect him back in about 2 to 3 weeks. There's Bediako at the end of the shot clock, knocking it down.
Jaden Bediako, he has become money anywhere inside that three-point line, even stretching out a little bit. You saw over this past summer at the FIBA U17s and the U18s for that matter, stretching his game out a little bit with the Canadian national team. But of course, as always, his big strength lies as a big block there by number 22. That would be Malcolm Bailey, the defensive stalwart of this Ridley defense. And there's going to be a shot clock violation as Ramir Moore makes good on the shot, just a little bit too late, Elias.
And prior to this game, prior to this tournament, Ramir Moore was averaging near 30 to start off the season and, you know, in preseason tournament events. But the story of this, for this team, has been Miguel Tomley. You know, in British Columbia, he was putting up some serious games. He came over here and just picked up where he left off. Had a 46-point game the other night. We'll see what he's going to get done here against Ridley.
We could argue out of his class, he's probably number 1 out of British Columbia at this point. Of course, there's a number of great talent coming out of that province, as there always is when it comes to Canadian basketball.
As well. Jermaine Haley playing at West Virginia under Coach Huggins. Should have a pretty big year.
And you got Thomas Chilton there working the bottom there. Oh, big throwdown by Malcolm Bailey, letting them know what time it is. And you have to imagine that Thomas Chilton, he's in for quite a day having to try and guard either Bailey or Bediako in the post. There, he's a Mississauga Monarch, which is his summer club. And he gets double stuffed there. Bailey blocking him with his forearm. And just how high he gets up.
He's got 2 blocks in the game already, and he's going to be a huge defensive presence for Ridley. 2 blocks and a dunk on the other end. Kid's off to a hot start.
He is, as Ramir Moore now brings it up. You got the 2-point guard combination of Ramir Moore and Josh Noten. Josh Noten, of course, last year at Lincoln Prep before transferring here in his final 5th year, graduation year with Rise Prep. And I mean, this is one of the guys that I've had a chance to watch way back from the times of St. Marcellinus when he was back in grade 9. This is a guy who's done an amazing job building his game up to what it is right now. Not exactly. He was a first shooting guard when he first went to Lincoln Prep. Coach Kenneld Knight did a great job of really mentoring him into the point guard position. And we now see a very talented player that can make all the right decisions as he's about to run the offense right now as we speak for Rise Prep. As he's going to get some options here. Gets it into Moore. Moore's going to go with the mid-range jumper. Nice smooth release there, but just not enough as Bediako going to come down with it. There's going to be a foul called on number 21 on Rise Prep, as that's Asari that's going to get called with that one. And the inbound is going to be for Ridley College. Inbounding it is going to be number 11, Simon Bailey. Nice find inside Bediako, and Malcolm throwing it down. That's his 2nd dunk of the game. Ridley out 6-4. Bringing it up now, Josh Noten. Noten to Chilton. Those are 2 teammates on the Mississauga Monarchs during the CNITs and CYBLs, as there's going to be a foul there.
And Rise is probably going to have their hardest time getting into the lane. There's just a lot of traffic in there, a lot of length and size for Ridley. That's one of their, their biggest assets.
Absolutely. And you know what, though? If there's any team that physically is up for it, it has to be Rise Prep. I mean, look at you look at the build of their guards. Every single one of these guys has got a little bit of meat on the bones here. Not a single one of these guys are really lanky in that sense. you can tell this is a team that works out.
Chilton on the pull-up.
There's Thomas Chilton. I mean, another one of these guys, and it's just a testament to the coaching staff here, Jeremy Kieye. These guys are just so confident compared to what they were when they first got into this academy. Just their ability to shoot off the dribble, always making the right decisions with the ball. And Bailey gets it inside to Bediako, but there's a guy, sometimes you just can't teach size, can you, Elias?
Well, in those situations, you got to be playing him in deny. You got to get a body in front of him so the ball has to go over, and in that case, the rim is right there. It's going to be a difficult pass to make. So positioning on the interior for Rise is going to have to change up a little bit. There's Naughton.
Josh Naughton, very impressive shot there, but once again, you know, you imagine the idea of Ramir Moore and Josh Naughton together in the same backcourt as Bailey goes up and gets fouled by Chilton, and he's going to go to the line for two. You know, there's a couple of dogs if you've ever seen them in the backcourt, and literally almost the exact same size and build, same style of play. And usually you'd think that would be conflicting, but these two have really found a way to make it work early in the season. Malcolm Bailey, also a soccer star at Ridley College, for those who may not know. He's actually gotten a few offers to play soccer. Some little known fact. But you can see, you know, just as time has went on and as he's continued to grow, I think it's become clear which side he's probably going to take.
Yeah, and I mean, Niagara's right across the border, close to Ridley, and they've been all over him. There's a real need for him there. So we'll see what ends up happening with his college decision. But I like what we've been seeing from Bailey as of late. You saw him there on the closeout. He's finishing more aggressively at the rim. Bediako there on the block. Yep,
very, very strong block by Bediako. And, you know, honestly, you wouldn't even put it past Bailey if we're on the subject. Almost gets crowned. Josh Naughton, what a feed there inside to number 21, Aseri. He was trying to go for the poster. Referee says no foul. Bediako, a rare fall-away jumper for Bediako. Not something you usually used to him seeing. As Ramir Moore starts to heat up a little bit behind the arc, and if you've ever seen a guy who loves the big moments, it's got to be Ramir Moore. One of my biggest regrets this tournament is not getting a chance to see Ramir Moore go up against Crestwood Prep and that Elijah Fisher matchup. As an air ball there by Dadu is going to result in a turnover for Rise Prep.
And players just got to know themselves, man. Some of them try to play outside their element, you know, execute on things that they haven't necessarily worked on, and that might not be Dadu's shot out on the perimeter.
No, not exactly. No, he's one of those kind of guys where you give him enough space and time, he does a great job of knocking those down, but not exactly the best pull-up shooter with pressure on him. No shot against him whatsoever, though. He's got plenty of, and you know what, if there's one thing, speaking of Anthony Dadu, I just have to say this right now. I've had the pleasure of covering Ridley College now for a few years, and I've seen the growth and development of this team. And Anthony Dadu, if you saw what he was like when he first walked into the Ridley College campus and what he is right now, he is beefed up. He's put on at least 10 to 15 pounds of muscle just over this summer alone, or even just over this last, I'd say, 6 to 7 months. Just a very impressive specimen, and just goes to the testament of both of these programs and how they get their players conditioned and ready. As unfortunately we see, it looks like a rolled ankle there on Malcolm Bailey as the dual athlete. He's going to stay on the floor, though. I think being as skilled of a soccer player as he is, he knows all about those stubbed toes and ankles and all that sort of stuff. So he's going to just shake it off and keep playing. But I think Coach Upshaw has seen enough. He wants Tommy Johnson on the floor there for Bailey. Bailey saying he's good, but you know, Coach Upshaw, he's been around the block one too many times to take any of those chances this early in the season.
Yeah, give him a chance to rest up. You got enough pieces, enough size that you could, you know, bring in another guy, fill in that same role.
And there's Root, a little short on that shot. You could see him leaning back as the shot went off. Going to be out of bounds on the fast break. Rise Prep. There's one thing, Elias, that you see about both of these coaches, though. There's intensity, but there's direction. There's a purpose. There's a why to their intensity when they're talking to their players. And it really shows with both of these teams. You just don't see them get very frustrated when they're playing. They know they're in for a battle, both of them. As here's Dadu over to Bediako, high jumper, and that's just his shot. He is so money from that high release point. That's part of the reason why he's found almost a permanent spot on the Canadian national program ever since he was 14. Big shot there, Ramir Moore. Mr. Moore getting it done, the Philly native. Here's Avgusti in the corner, and he's going to lose a handle on it. Johnny Avgusti, one of the newest additions to this Ridley College roster. Very impressive summer over in the Signature League and at the CNITs for U-Play, where he was picked up. Coach Upshaw liked what he saw there. And Avgusti, of course, high-level grades, very good academic, and that's something you got to have. You got to have the academics if you're going to go to Ridley College.
And he'll eventually have the Patriot League taking notes and recruiting him. There's Dowdu on the rebound.
Now Root bringing it up, and Moore almost went for it there. Kicks it over Avgusti, just a little strong. Here's Tomley bringing it up with those beautiful golden shoes of his.
Kobe's.
Here's Chilton over to Naughton. Naughton's going to run the offense now. He's guarded by Avgusti. Naughton going up against Bediako. Nice find to Moore in the corner. Moore's going to take it up himself. Nice touch and finish. And can you tell he's been training with Cal Lowry?
Man, his body looks really good, man. He's thick. He absorbs contact. He's got you could tell it's all in the core strength. When a guy can get up, take the contact, and still find a way to finish, that's all core. And a lot of these kids walk around and they got what looks to be a six-pack. And you could just be a string bean and have a six-pack. But when you got a strong core, your lower back, your lower abdomen, your obliques are all in check.
Absolutely, and that's it. It's not just about what you see at the front. It's the total package. You got to have all of it. You got to do those back extensions, those side extensions, those med ball twists.
Okay, somebody's been in the gym.
Hey, when you're a pitcher in the previous life, that's all that we ever did was core work and joint strength. As Tommy trying to show off his strength, going to the basket. He's going to get a foul. He's got no problem with that all day. He'll stay at the line. He's got a great form. Big reason why he likes to attack the rim. And that's one thing about this Ridley College squad is, they're never going to be afraid to bully a team inside if they see the opportunity. And then when you add that in with the length that they have on the guard positions, they don't really have anyone outside of Noah that's necessarily quick off the dribble or has the exceptional handles, but they all know how to pass. They all know how to get themselves open. And it's that off-ball movement that you preach so much, Elias, whether it's at a showcase or whether it's on these broadcasts, that they do so well as a team. And it's a big reason why they're top 3 in the country.
I agree with you, man. And these national rankings have been, so to speak, really stirring up the pot, I would say. That's not the intention, but I mean, we're just trying to make sure that, Ryan, you put a lot of work into those rankings.
Absolutely.
I think the records speak for themselves. In the first edition, it's kind of, you're projecting a little bit, trying to learn about, what the rosters look like. But from here on out, the weekly editions, it all comes down to records.
Yes. And it's going to look down to basically, who are you beating? Who are you going up against? And, and here we are. At the end of the day, we've got 2 top 10 programs. We've ranked them top 10, and here they are in the finals going up against each other. I think that's a testament to the research that's been done on these programs and these teams. As Naughton goes up and in, and a big throwdown, number 23. Give that one.
Mr. Bryant Celebangu.
Celebangu getting it done, banging it. Here's Root, Alex Root, Dadu to Johnson. Oh, nice find outside, shot, count it. Give that one to number 10. That's Kenan Lermond. And there's John over to Moore. Moore's gonna work by himself. Nice shot there. Originally, I wasn't exactly agreeing with that. When he had the smaller defender on him, you'd expect him to attack the basket, but pulls it back. And a follow-away 3, making it look easy, Ramir Moore. Bediako. And, oh, man, just money. And Bediako, you can see just how comfortable he is with that shot because he knows. He knows how big he is. He's finally starting to really understand just how big and strong and tall he is. And that high release, I mean, who's blocking it? Here's Naughton. To John, to Moore. Moore. Guarded by Lermond, and there's going to be an offensive foul, and that's going to be on Dawson John. A legal screen is the call. And Ridley College getting a bit of a break there, as if they needed it. They're finding themselves now up by a few possessions, 23-16, with 15 seconds remaining in this first quarter. 10 seconds remaining. Bediako in the post. Nice spin move. Oh, textbook finish. 5 seconds remaining. And they're going to get one chance for a shot. Tomley from half court. Mighty! Miguel Tomley from half court. And I think they're ready to play.
Miguel McBuckets Tomley gets another one.
BC in the house here as we're going to take a brief break here on North Pole Hoops TV. It is the 38th annual Humber Classic. It is Ridley College 18, Rise Prep 26 after that one. We'll be right back.
We've traveled across the country and back. 7 years running. Canada's basketball talent blossoms right before our eyes. From coast to coast. It's our job to bring it to the light. No gimmicks, just hard work on the hardwood. Who will step up to the plate this summer? Who will make their game undeniable and challenge every man in front of him? Game will speak.
Let's keep it going. Keep the intensity high.
Get your feet square, get your feet square.
Take it home, write it down, grab a homie, and work on it. Work on it, master it.
AJ Lawson, go! He gets it to go! Wow! Pick it up, Jalen.
Oh my God!
Top 10, top 10.
Two-way players are the best players. Understand that. Two-way players are the best players.
Here's Sabri Phillips, two-hand jam!
Let's go, boy!
It doesn't matter from what city you're from, how tall you are, what school, what club you represent. Game speaks. There's no politics here.
NPH Scouting Service. The NPH Scouting Service is another platform for exposure with a network of over 300 coaches and scouts from some of the most recognizable brands and programs. Our scouts are constantly evaluating talent to ensure accuracy and credibility.
And welcome back to the second quarter action of 38th annual Humber Classic. This is the prep final between number 9 ranked Rise Prep, who is currently leading number 3 ranked Ridley College 26-18 after a frantic and wildly entertaining first quarter. My name is Ryan Greco on your play-by-play, joined by Elias Spate on color. And Elias, my goodness, what a first quarter we were treated to just now.
And a good way to end it too. Miguel Tomley, you know, with his, those are the type of plays that he makes. He's a big shot maker. Just rose in the national rankings, player rankings. He's 25th overall in the country, and he's surrounded by some really good company. In the 2019 class, we are projecting, get this, 50-plus Division I caliber players coming out of the Canadian 2019 class.
So we're talking about players that aren't even on the top 50 on the site. We're talking guys, even more guys than that.
No, that's what I'm referring to. I'm referring to the guys in the North Pole Hoops rankings.
That's incredible. The fact that you can have that many guys. And there's Bediako. There's a guy that's not going to have any trouble finding a school once his high school career is up. Jaden Bediako, just complete money under the basket. Oh, nice move by Tomley. Up, doesn't get the kind roll. And Elias, he is making you look like a genius right now.
Hey man, he's doing it himself. Game speaks. He's improved drastically since his days in British Columbia. Just his ability to create off the dribble. He's taking care of his body. He's taking the game more seriously.
He is. And there's Ramir Moore, who went up and under. Speaking of a guy taking the game a little bit more seriously after the missed shot. And a big throw down. Jaden Bediako over the top of Kenny Anabonum.
I'm liking what we're seeing from Bediako. He's starting to break out of his shell.
Oh, for sure. I mean, those were plays back in the day that Bediako would be getting upset and calling for the foul. Now he just doesn't care. He's just going to throw it right down as Chilton gets it back and gives it to Moore. And I think that's something we're both more than happy to see, that Bediako is now, as I kind of was alluding to at the beginning of our broadcast, really starting to understand just how big and strong he is compared to a lot of other guys on the floor.
Yeah, and when he's playing the role of the aggressor and attacking, using that drop step you've seen him use when he's got his back to the basket, you've seen him face up. Just when he's fully engaged, I find he's tough to stop. And the next step for him is really honing in and taking care of his body. Really get it becoming more defined before making a move to the next level.
And even to that point, it does seem like he has slipped down a little bit. You're seeing now a lot of his build is now, most of the weight you can see is starting to kind of go up to his upper chest, as opposed to where it was at the midsection when he was starting out at about grade 10 and even grade 11. Now you can see he's developing a little bit, but you're absolutely right in the sense that, Jaden Bediako as a leaned out player is just a scary idea. It's a scary thought, because you think of just how strong, like, he's country strong.
Yes,
like,
that's a good way of putting it.
Like, just country strong. Like, he's got the kind of strength you can't get in a weight room. It's just there. and if you add that with the way that he's been training and the way that he's been working out with Canada, you're seeing the dividends right there with that poster dunk. As we've got another timeout here. We'll be right back in just a moment here in the prep final. We have Rise Prep leading 30-22 over Ridley College here on North Pole Hoops TV. We'll be right back.
Is it something that I've done again? Say what?
Here's Campbell, look out, one hand down.
Seeing is believing. Create your very own mixtape that showcases your top highlights and skills. And strengthen your recruiting status with a direct video for coaches and scouts. Available at all NPH covered and hosted events nationwide. Email m.dotto@northpolehoops.com for any inquiries and special filming requests. Exposure starts here.
Tell me, is it something that I've done again?
NPH Scouting Service. The NPH Scouting Service is another platform for exposure, with a network of over 300 coaches and scouts from some of the most recognizable brands and programs. Our scouts are constantly evaluating talent to ensure accuracy and credibility.
And we're back here at the 38th Annual Humber Classic, NorthPoleHoops.com. We've got Ridley College, ranked number 3 nationally, taking on number 9 nationally ranked Rise Prep. All brought to you by North Pole Hoops. Been certified for the past 10 years. NCAA database. And we got Ramir Moore out of Philadelphia going up. Just a big miss there. Asking for the foul. Referee said play on. We've got 8:02 to go here in this second quarter. And this is two programs very, very, very familiar with each other.
And both, in my opinion, considered contenders for the OSBA championship.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, this is keep in mind, of course, Ridley, finalists last year. They were actually up against the other program that out of Rise, out of TRC Academy, of course, the Wolfpack last year, headed up by Adong McCoy, as Jaden Bediako, another easy bucket there, looking just so smooth in that post right now. And Rise just has no response for him.
Well, he's dipping his shoulder and getting by, and as soon as he's got the advantage and the defender at his hip, it's most likely that he's going to finish with that soft touch. Step back, Tom Lee, little off the mark.
You got to love the footwork, though.
Dancing feet over there.
That's right. He definitely knows how to two-step. Here's Avgusti. Johnny Avgusti has Ramir Moore on, and that's a tough matchup for him. Yes. Johnny Avgusti, welcome to prep. One of your first opponents is going to be one of the best in the country, Ramir Moore. He's staying with it. Nice find inside to Bailey, who's back on the floor after that early tweak of the knee. Tomley's going to go for 3. Count it. Miguel Tomley, straight out of BC, getting it done.
That was beautiful transition basketball. Not in from the opposite three-point line. Knew that he was going to get it to Tomley, but timed it and waited for him to get out on the wing. Good recognition there by Naughton.
Here's Bailey. Simon Bailey. Oh, just rims out. Naughton comes down with the rebound, gets it over to Tomley. And I think this is the way. It's Tomley, nice crossover there. Kiss off the glass, no good. And Simon Bailey's going to come down with it. Now he's going to run the floor. He's surveying his options. And there's going to be a blocking foul as Josh Naughton was not able to get his feet set in time, got clipped in the hip, and as a result, Bailey's going to the line for 2.
And Naughton's upset at himself because he didn't commit all the way. Thought about taking the charge, bailed last second.
And that's the kind of IQ that Naughton brings to the table, joining Rise Prep. I actually had a chance to speak with Naughton about a month before it was made official that he was going to be joining the academy. And just one of the things that he was talking about that he loves so much about that program was just the fact that they knew what they were getting in him, and he's really shown how hard he's worked in the offseason to try and be a part of this roster. He knew nothing was going to be given to him joining this program. And he's proven that he was worth the selection by the work that he's been putting in to start this year.
How about these fresh kicks he's got on? White and black Jordan 10s, retros.
Jeez. I can't understand, like I get the style of it all, but to get those retro shoes on, like for me personally, I would always want the most top competitive edges possible. The only thing that I have against the retro shoes is that they're a little bit heavier.
Yeah, it depends. It depends on, like the ones, for example, yes, they're heavy. They got a thicker sole.
Yeah.
The 11s halfway through the collection got a little lighter.
Yeah.
Me personally, I don't mind. I like a snug fit that's a little bit heavier.
No, I hear you. I hear you. Me personally right now, I'm wearing the Paul Georges, and I'm loving those. Not exactly the lightest shoes on the planet. At one point, I was wearing the Kobe's, and the big thing with the Kobe's, I believe it was the 7s, was the fact that they were so low cut, and they were the lightest shoe at the time, lightest basketball shoe that was available. That was back in 2011. And then they mysteriously disappeared. And here we go, getting back to the action. Thomas Chilton, he's going to get hit in the face by Jaden Bediako. Bediako doesn't like what he hears, telling the ref, I had my hand straight up in the air. It was Chilton's face that hit my elbow.
And Chilton kind of sold that one. You saw him setting up. He checked where the referee was.
Yep.
Smart play.
No, absolutely. And once again, it's just a testament to the knowledge of these players. Two very well-coached teams. The fundamentals are all there. Even for a guy like Ramir Moore, who's more considered of a wild card, he's really fitting in well with this program for the last 2 years. Shots no good. Also, we have a few substitutions on the floor. Number 4, Cole Scott in for Rise Prep, as there's going to be a goaltending call there against Rise, and Simon Bailey's going to get 2 on the board for him. 5:27 to go. It is 34-27 for Rise Prep, holding a lead over Ridley College right now. Here's Moore. Moore guarded by Root. Moore works off the screen. Nope. Rejects the screen. Gets it back to Chilton. Thomas Chilton. Nice spin move in. He's going to get called with the foul. And Chilton doing a great job of leaning in with the body, getting the hands up, getting that contact on the forearm. Understood what kind of a shot blocker he was facing in Malcolm Bailey, so he made sure the shoulder was dipping in to create the space before Bailey was able to get a hand on the ball.
Bailey can definitely get himself a job at the Division I level simply as a rim protector. I mean, offensively, he's a cleanup guy. He's a guy who you could dish into and he'll finish with two-hand jams. But, I mean, what he provides on the defensive end, whether it's blocking or altering a shot, he's an asset in my books.
I want to even go a step further and believe that just based off of how the seasons are, you might actually see Malcolm Bailey as a two-sport athlete at the Division I level. It is not entirely out of the question. As Moore goes up for 3. No good. The tip is no good. Good work at the basket there, though. Chilton now, he's going to shoot it. Just a little strong as the lefty is not able to bring it down. Now here's Root bringing it up. Over to Bailey. This is Malcolm Bailey. Loses a handle on it. Goes up, the foul, and one. Johnny Augusti caught, couldn't make up his mind on what he wanted to do defensively, and as a result, give that bucket to Brian Celebangu. And Salamangu doing a great job there of recognizing Augustine. Didn't have any hands up, so just leaned right into him. Finished with the left hand. And that's something Augustine is really going to have to try and work on throughout his prep career here, as it has really just started.
And Salamangu, product of Quebec, and you know they've been doing it up. The second strongest population of basketball talent in Canada. Of course, Ontario, widely recognized as the Mecca. Here's Cole Scott on the break.
Excellent work there.
You watch out for this young man. He doesn't get a lot of minutes right now due to the seniors ahead of him, but he's learning the game. He's learning from his mistakes, and whenever he does get minutes, he makes the most of it.
Well, I think when you're backing up a guy like Naughton or Moore, especially, I could only imagine what the practices are like for him as he gets another steal there. As we're speaking about him, gets it over to Moore. I mean, that's got to be one heck of a challenge for him during those scrimmages. Loses it, though. Here's Root. Up. Tries to, but can't finish. Gets it back to Moore. Moore doing a great job of just keeping Root off balance there without causing the foul. And here's Moore now. He's setting it up. He's just going to bully his way to the basket. Up and in. What a finish there. Straight out of Kyle Lowry's playbook. That is literally one of those kind of plays you would see his uncle pull off.
I liked it, man. We talked about his strength. That's one of the biggest things that allows him to finish like that.
Oh, nice finish there. Simon Bailey, beautiful cut to the basket. And once again, there's a reason we rank these teams the way that they are. There's just such great and high IQ basketball being played at this moment. Oh, no one's ever standing still in one place. Constant movement on the offensive end. Moore, no good.
If you haven't seen him yet, go to northpolehoops.com to check out the national top 25 team rankings,
which we update every Wednesday. That's one thing. That's one thing we try to reiterate with these national rankings, is that there's going to be movement every week because nothing stays the same. Everything is going to be changing. When you have as many games to cover as we do in the Canadian prep circuit and throughout the showcases and regular season games, whether it's a public school or a prep school, you're going to have great games, you're going to have not so great games. There's always going to be factors going in. So that's why the idea of power rankings is a much more realistic way of evaluating the talent that we have in this country.
And there's been some commentary with regards to, oh, but this player is injured, that's why we lost this one. Or I got two guys on the bench that can't suit up because they're nursing an ankle. That is not how we evaluate these teams, and that's not how the rankings work per se. It's based more off of record. Hey, if you got a guy injured, it's next man up.
Absolutely. And even just the strength of competition, who are you facing, right? At the end of the day, if you're 8-3, but you haven't faced anyone in the top 15 or 20 in the country, or you're not necessarily going down to the United States and taking on some of those top programs, but you've got another program that's sitting at 500 that is going out there and trying to better themselves and pushing themselves. I mean, that's always going to be a factor as well. As we've I stopped banging the table. I'm doing my part.
No, it's the feet.
No, I know. I'm just talking shit, man. The more you work with me, the more you'll... I'd like to welcome everyone back. This is the Humber Classic Prep Division Final between number 3 ranked Ridley College and number 9 ranked Rise Prep. Rise, though, taking it to Ridley here with the 42-31 lead. As we've got Simon Bailey now with the ball. Gets it over to Alex Root, who's going to let it fly from deep. It's a little bit short. Thomas Chilton coming down with the rebound, and I just love how Thomas Chilton's developed his game and just how he's transformed his body. Much more athletic. as he's gotten older. Better basketball sense. You can see him handling the ball a little bit more with confidence and just, improving his game overall. I'm just happy to see that, considering the fact, that's a guy that, I personally have seen develop over the last few years. So anytime you see guys really work on their craft like that, I mean, it's what we're here for, isn't it not, Elias?
Absolutely. And I know there's a couple of coaches watching right now from the Patriot League that are, that are looking at a guy like Chilton. I think he fits the mold of the league as a whole, considering his versatility.
Oh, and there's a missed pass there. Tommy Johnson letting that one fly a little loose. Also, substitution was on the floor a little bit earlier. Peter Moses, number 2 for Ridley College, on the floor. Always on the broadcast, try and show as much love as possible to every player that steps onto the floor. As far as I'm concerned, if you've managed to step foot on a floor of a prep game, especially in a championship game that's being broadcast, you deserve your name to be heard. As we've got ourselves a foul, Miguel Tomley once again going to the line with those golden Kobe's. Makes good on the first. There's a kid out of BC. I've been thoroughly impressed. I've seen him play a few times, but I feel like this is definitely the best I've seen him play live. As Alex Root going to be running the point, guarded by Ramir Moore. Now he's guarded by Chilton. Root trying to take it up himself as Moses tries to come down with it, but because Root was out of bounds as he jumped back in, that's going to be a clear out of bounds violation. It's going to be Rise Prep ball. As Josh Naughton now bringing it in. Ramir Moore now with the ball. He's guarded by Johnny Avgusti. He's going to go up, tries to scoop it under.
It's anybody's game right now. There's a lot of time left. 6:30, 69-62. Rise lead.
Inbound, Tomley. And you can see nearly getting called with a foul there. Oh, just rolls out, and Jaden Bediako gets his 16th rebound of the game. A little bit of an elbow, too, and now he works inside. He's going to try and bully his way in. Nice up and spin, and there's going to be a foul.
Really good job by Jaden reading where the second defender was coming from behind him.
That is, Elias, that is not something we would have seen him do even just a year ago.
No, his game has evolved entirely. We're seeing a lot more above the rim finishes. The soft touch has been something that's always been in his arsenal, but I think his playmaking ability off of a double team is something that's really coming around.
Absolutely, and we're going to see plenty more of that as we continue. Just a quick timeout here on NorthPoleHoops.com. This is the Humber Classic Invitational Prep Division Final. We'll be right back.
I'm Jaden Creighton. I'm mic'd up for North Pole Hoops. Let's turn up. Let's get it done. Yep. Hey, twist! I got you on your house side. Cleveland! Go on that side. Yeah.
The pace is too slow.
Yeah.
They don't have anybody who can play at this pace.
Yeah. Noah, drop. Noah, Nate. Go to work. Hey, let's talk. Tired of this. Let's go.
1, 2, 3.
Family. Let's go. Bring it in.
Together.
1, 2, 3 together. Come on. Give me that. Ask your partner, please.
Welcome back, NorthPoleHoops.com. We have ourselves a game, ladies and gentlemen, here in the fourth. It is number 9 nationally ranked Rise Prep up 69-62 over number 3 nationally ranked Ridley College. Ridley College, a very impressive third quarter there, building a considerable lead before the beginning of this fourth. And I mean, Rise Prep just came out and was just scorching from behind the arc in the form of Ramir Moore and Miguel Tomley and Josh Naughton, just absolutely decimating that backcourt and building a very impressive lead here with 6:12 to go in this game, Elias. As Jaden Bediako now at the line after getting fouled. He's going to make good on his second free throw. Lead is now down to 6. 2-possession game here as Rise Prep looking to really make a bit of a surge up in the national rankings if they were able to pull this one off. One could imagine.
This is a quality win under their belt, even without Wharton. You know, it's a piece that they're missing right now. Noah Wharton really knows how to set up guys and, you know, feed his guys and get them in high percentage scoring situations. So for sure this is an entirely different team, but Ridley's playing very well without him.
Absolutely, and I think with that being said, a lot of credit needs to be due to Alex Root, a guy who doesn't normally start for Ridley College, has came into this position. Coach Upshaw, extremely confident with the capabilities of Root, a guy who has been with this with this academy for a few years now, and you know, he's done an admirable job of filling in for the shoes of Wharton and really doing a chance. And it shows by how Jaden Bediako's been able to receive the basketball. I mean, this is a team that passes extremely well no matter who has it.
Stop and pop, no good.
And here's Josh Noten off to the races. He's going to get it over to Tomley. But I mean, this backcourt from Rise Prep could be one of the absolute best in the country. I mean, you got everything. You got size, you got court vision, you got speed, you got shooting as Ramir Moore lets it fly and just rims out. But there's Thomas Chilton coming down with it, and he's going to get blocked. But, you know, kudos to this Rise Prep team. They do not care how many times they get blocked. They're going to get the ball. They're going to keep trying to pound the rock into the paint. They're looking for those fouls. They're looking to try and get those looks. They're just working a great inside-out game right now. It has to be commended. Here's Tomley. Nice step back there. That's textbook. That is such a clean move, Elias.
I mean, he gets it forward. He gets his defender on the jab forward and then sidesteps him for about 4 to 5 feet of space. It's a lot of room for him to get a shot for already a high percentage shooter.
Yep. And even you just see Dadu tried to back him down there and nothing happened. And it was like trying to back down a fire hydrant, Miguel Tomley. And Elias might be seeing him. You know, you got to love this. I mean, between the three of these guys, who would have thought that these three would be able to just get along so well in one backcourt? And, oh, good attempt there by Moore with the no-look alley. But Sarabangu unable to finish. And here's Root. Gets it over to Dadu. Dadu's going to try and feed Bediako. Gets it over to Moses. Moses gets fouled by Ramir Moore from the back. And Moore can't believe it, but a very easy call, I must say. It kind of looked like he definitely got more arm than ball on that one. As Moses is going to come out, as Tommy Johnson's coming back into the game, and there's another wide frame for Ridley College. I mean, the size on this team is just so hard to compete with. But once again, Rise Prep up to the task. They got some impressive athletes of their own. Now with the ball is Kenan Lermond. He's going to let it fly. Man right in his face. No good, but Dadu comes down with those long arms, and Bediako trying to fight for it. And there's a fight for the ball at the bottom there. And it's going to be Rise ball, as Dadu had 2 black jerseys all over him. As Ramir Moore inbounds it. As Miguel Tomley now goes up. Can't finish. Great defense there on the one-on-one. And Root nearly loses it. Tomley all over him. Root now bringing it up. Lermond loses it. Sarabangu, he's off to the races. He's got Tommy Johnson all over him. And Tommy's going to get called with the reach in. Not exactly mad at that one. If you're going to foul well, there's no shot.
Easy call there. Yeah, you don't want him to pick up any momentum at this point. They already have a 10-point lead, and if that ended up being a dunk in transition, you know, would have called for a timeout.
Absolutely. And if there's one team you don't want to get going, it's Ridley College. I mean, this is a team that really prides itself on bully ball in the post. You know, they have the shooters around Bediako to really get themselves going, but I mean, when you got guys like Malcolm Bailey and Bediako himself and Tommy Johnson, these are all guys that it's a block party no matter who they're up against. They've got the athletes for it. And anytime they crave that physicality, but I think that's just what makes this matchup so fascinating, is that you've got a backcourt of Tomley, Noten, and more. They're all right there as we speak, conversating about what the next play is going to be. And these guys, I mean, you just look at them. They're just so physically, they look so physically tough and well built. Not many backcourts in any prep program in the country are built like that. Here's Avgusti, over to Bailey. Dadu, guarded by Noten. And a steal by Moore. He's off to the races. He's going to go up and get called with the foul. But once again, Alex Root doing what needs to be done. If he makes the mistake, you better make sure that they're not going to get an easy two at the other end. You have to, at the very least, make them earn it at the line. Ramir Moore, native out of Philadelphia, joining Rise Prep last year. A lot of people were not exactly expecting much from that program. A lot of people were saying that this would be the year that they do something. But to the surprise of everybody, they started off that year with an undefeated record. It actually took Orangeville Prep to give them their first loss of the year. And, you know, Ramir Moore was a huge part of that, as well as John Akende, who's now enjoying a Division II ride over at Sioux Falls. Actually a Rexdale native. Went to Father Henry Carr just down the street from here in the North Campus. And really that team, and really Josh Noten in a way kind of following the footsteps of Akende, joining this team in his senior year. Ramir Moore, as we say it, foul and one. And David Tyndall at the other end of the floor likes what he sees. Of course, the York University legend, if you will. He's also in attendance here, one of the instructors.
He's the director, actually. Director for the camps for the showcase circuit coming up this summer.
Well, he's got plenty to see from here in this game, as Root now brings it up. Avgusti trying to get it inside to Bediako, but he's got a whole triple teamed in the post. They do not want Bediako to have the ball. They'll say anyone but Bediako. But unfortunately, that leaves Anthony Dadu open, and he makes it count. 78-66 though, but is it too little too late? They're going to need a stop here. Double-digit lead for Rise Prep, and doing a great job of holding on to the basket till the very last shot. And Sarah Bangu throws it down! Banging it off the rim.
Cleaning up from QC is Sela Bangu.
Jaden Bediako, money! Jaden Bediako, he knew exactly what he wanted to do as soon as he got the ball. You gotta love that. Moore, no good on the three, but gets his own rebound. I'm sure Coach Upshaw is not gonna like that on the tape for Malcolm Bailey. Not boxing out Moore, allowing him to get his own rebound, but more importantly, a fresh clock as it winds down. Avgusti loses it, and again, Ramir Moore comes up with it, and that's gotta be costly for Ridley College. 1:52 remaining. 3 opportunities now. 3 seconds on the shot clock. Chilton, no good. And Bailey finally comes down with it. Gets it to Dadu. Almost gets caught with a backcourt violation. Gets it to Bediako. He's going to shoot it again. Foul. Just misses. And I feel like almost that's the only way you can get Bediako to miss at this point from the top of the key there.
The shooting percentage is very high for this game. Shooting roughly around 75%. And that mid-range has been pretty consistent for him as well. He's got 30 points on the evening. Good for a game high.
Impressive effort there. Bediako no good on the free throw. But Rise Prep up 80-68. Bediako, the second one, is good. 80-69 here.
Just over a minute to go.
As Chilton gets it over. Moore for three. It's good. And Moore is literally shooting the lights out here in this gym. As there's going to be a brief timeout. So we're dealing with some technical difficulties. We will be right back.
Is it something that I've done again? Say what?
Here's Campbell, look out, one hand down.
Seeing is believing. Create your very own mixtape that showcases your top highlights and skills. and strengthen your recruiting status with a direct video for coaches and scouts. Available at all NPH covered and hosted events nationwide.
I'd like to welcome everybody back. Apologies for those technical difficulties as we've returned. It is 1:23 to go here in the gold medal game of the prep division of the Humber Classic Invitational. Ridley College trying to get the, as you can see, there's an air ball from Bediako. And Rise Prep at this point, Elias, really just needs to manage the clock, and they've got themselves a very high quality win above a higher ranked Ridley College. Tomley behind the back.
And if you're Ridley right now, you're looking to get a quick possession here and try to get to the rim, get some buckets with the time stopped.
And Moore puts it up. Oh, and that's it. That might do it right there. 16-point lead for Rise Prep. And Ramir Moore, a total gamer, dribbling it up and knocking it down with a hand right in his face. And Coach Jeremy Kieye loves what he sees on the other end. We're going to have a substitution. Here's the inbound to Simon Bailey. Gets it over to Dadu. He's going to let it fly. And it bounces out. And it's Ramir Moore coming down with it. He's going to dribble it up. Gets it over to Tomley. To Moore. Over to Noten. Noten's going to let it fly for three. No good. To Dadu. Dadu is going to go up and throws it down with two hands. 22 seconds remaining. 85-71 Rise Prep. And there's going to be a double team on Noten. No foul. Here's Dawson John. Moore again. Money from the corner. Ramir Moore. Elias can't believe it. He's on his feet.
Is this guy kidding me right now?
He is a gamer, ladies and gentlemen. Ramir Moore. Here's Peter Moses. Up. Makes good. The lefty from the paint, and 3 seconds remaining, and that's going to do it. And a statement win for 9th-ranked Rise Prep as they take down number 3 Ridley College.
Move them up.
Move them up. We're moving them up, ladies and gentlemen. They've earned it. A fantastic win from a fantastic game by both teams. My name's Ryan Greco. This is Elias Spate, and I want to take a brief second to thank all of our production team who've been busting their butts all tournament long, getting the footage that we've needed. Big thank you to all of them. Big thank you to all the fans that have shown up and to all the organizers here at Humber College, my alma mater. Love you guys. Always great to come back here and see it. So make sure that we all have ourselves a good time and everyone get home. Elias, any closing thoughts?
Hey, man, it's been an excellent tournament. We got a full schedule ahead of us this month. Join us later in November 28th to December 2nd. We'll be on the live stream out of Ottawa, where you'll be joining me.
That's right.
For some NPA action. Central means all the teams in the National Preparatory Association are flying into Ottawa. Make sure to stay tuned for that one. Thank you again for everyone that's tuning in here. On behalf of North Pole Hoops, thank you for joining us, and have yourself a great evening.